Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Day 17 of Inktober. Here we come. We got this. And of course, to start this off, I wanted to show you guys the lineup of the different inks that I use within this video. Obviously, they've kind of been all the same over these last couple of days, and they're probably going to stay the same, but those are my favorite colors for doing galaxies, and that way you guys know if you want to try using the same kind of color range for yourself. Now, I've been having a lot of fun purposely doing these close-up pieces for the galaxy, just because then I can kind of go nuts and have as much galaxy in there as I want, because I can do however much hair as I want. And I do sometimes when I do like the full body pinups, and I'll probably end up doing one of those at least, since I have 3 more days of this galaxy theme, is I like to do like the whole outfit and like her socks or her shoes all in galaxy as well. And I kind of tend to do one of those like one-piece lingerie style outfits, and just kind of all of it is galaxy. Her hair, her outfit, her shoes, or her socks, depending on what I decide to go with. And it's a lot of fun to do, but I definitely love doing these close-ups because I can just go nuts with the ink and have fun. Now, being that I wanted this tone to be a lot darker today, I did start with a rather higher pigmented set of colors. There's not very much water mixed with these. It's probably half a palette, half of the little dot palette full of water, and then about 4 or 5 drops of the pigment, the India ink pigment. That way I get some deep tones. And then even still, as I was laying it, I realized it wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. So I go over it 3 times actually to kind of create the dimension that I want. Now, the third time that I do go over this, you'll see me lay down the color and then lift it with the paper towels. And a big reason that I like to do that is because on that third color, I still have a lot of the tone that I want underneath, but if I lay that third one, it makes everything real nice and dark, and then lift parts of it, it gives me those really nice highlights in certain areas to create almost like the real dark space and the real light space cloudy effect that you would see in kind of like nebulas and other things in space in the galaxy. So, just kind of adding a different effect to it to have fun with it. And that's where I say, like, you'll see me lay this down, and then here I am dabbing up some of that color, and it creates real dark spaces with real highlighted spaces. And today, instead of going with more of a gray tone for her skin, I spent a hefty amount of time, probably a good 45 minutes to an hour, just building color and using like a washed out version of the same pigments, so that it had kind of the same feel, but it was also a lot more light and contrasted. So she's more of like a full on galaxy girl rather than just having galaxy hair. And it was a lot of fun. What you don't see, because I purposely turned the camera off so that it doesn't take up too much time, is that I do, when I lay down a heavy layer, I will take the blow dryer and blow dry my piece just from a good distance. I think I lift the blow dryer about 2 feet above the piece and just let it kind of dry. That way I can go in and build more layers without oversaturating the paper itself, and it causes less bubbling and everything like that. So a big part of this piece that I wanted to kind of keep with the flow is trying to keep it real soft in the face, or at least to a degree. I did end up giving her real like smoky eyes towards the end, and I had a lot of fun with that. But to create the soft effect for her lips and her nose, I went in with a purple Bic ballpoint pen, the same pen that I used yesterday, and it's something that's kind of perfect for creating more of the softer tone that I can build up on rather than just going straight to a darker color. I feel like I need to find more of like a gel pen so that maybe I can kind of move the ink with some water if possible. I'll have to kind of experiment with that and see, and who knows, maybe I'll mess with it tomorrow and see if it turns out differently or if I can create a new effect with it. But yes, I finally went into using some black ink for today, and really it was just for her eyes and creating kind of a smoky background around her. I thought about leaving the background all white, but I kind of wanted to have more of like a smoky tone in some of the areas. So I do still continue to use a lot of the color in her face and creating that soft kind of purple tone to her, but I really tried to give her like a nice heavy smoky eye, just by using a black India ink wash, and the ratio for black is way more sensitive than if you're using any other pigment. The pigment in black India ink is super strong. So I will fill up a palette, one of my little palettes there, full of water and use like 1 drop of black, and it can have such a strong effect. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put a drop in the palette next to it, and I'll kind of dab my brush and then put it in the water and mix it until I get the right amount of color wash or pigment that I want. I always test on another piece of paper unless I'm just like, I'm going bold, I'm going for it, let's do this, I don't care what it looks like, which sometimes I do, but most of the time I try and test on a separate like scratch piece of paper in my sketchbook so that I get kind of the color tones that I want, so I know what I'm working with ahead of time, just to kind of save myself from laying down color and being like, oh, that was really dark. Because it does happen, I promise you. Now, I laid so many dots for this piece, and I honestly was like, oh, maybe I laid down too many, but at the same time, I didn't really care. I kind of, when you look up at the stars, when you look at pictures of the galaxy and everything like that, there's billions upon billions and billions of stars. So of course, like, I just decided to have fun with it and go all out, even in the sense of after laying this super bold white with, this is the Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white calligraphy ink. After that, and I briefly dried it with the blow dryer so that I could make sure that I could go in with one of these Jelly Roll pens. And I took the Jelly Roll pen and I added even more tiny dots that were a bit more faded, so it kind of created a bit of distance for the dots itself. And then I used the same pen to create my constellations in the hair to add to the galaxy kind of effect. And I think it came out really well. I love the smoky eye. I'm gonna do it again because I had so much fun doing it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing and I appreciate you all so much. And a shout out to my new Patreon. Thank you, Ida. I so appreciate you. And if you'd like to join my Patreon, check the link in the description down below.